Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Millicent Machaka. In this video, I just thought of sharing with you guys one of my passions, being baking. So just to give you a little bit of background, last year when lockdown started, remember when we were on level 5, I was sitting at home. I didn't have any project at work, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can, start baking and sell scones. And I promise you, when I started baking and I started selling scones, I made a lot of money that I was able to pay for some of my responsibilities, to the apartment, to the car. So today I just thought maybe there's someone out there who's sitting at home, not doing anything, waiting for government or waiting for funding or waiting to get a job. Maybe this can be a brilliant idea for you because you don't necessarily need a lot of ingredients when you start. So I'm just gonna take you through how you can make scones for yourself, very delicious scones, and start selling them. Believe you me, you're just gonna kill it and you're gonna make a lot of money for yourself while you're waiting for that job that you've been applying for. So yeah, let's get started. I'll take you through the ingredients that I've got. So instead of fresh milk, I'm gonna use Amazi. I don't know what they call it in English. Yeah, but this is Amazi, right? And for butter, I use this one, the wooden spoon. And I've got obviously baking powder, and I've got 4 eggs, but we're only gonna use 3 eggs, but I'll show you how I'm gonna mix everything. And I also have sugar. I prefer white sugar for baking, and vanilla essence. I mean, you need to give it that flavor, and the vanilla custard, and obviously the flour. So I'm gonna start mixing just to show you guys the tricks and how I make my scones to be fluffy and beautiful and pregnant. I'll show you how scones do get pregnant. So I'll put this aside for now, because firstly you need to mix your dry ingredients, and this is where I'm going to be mixing my dry ingredients. 7 cups of flour. Firstly, I've got this with me here. I don't know what it's called, but you can look for it at any baker's shop. I think they sell it, but I use this to level. This is what I'm gonna use. It's actually 250 milliliters, or it will be written 1 cup. So when you're looking for this kind of things, they're not expensive. You can even get them at China Mall or even at Tab. I'm not sure, but I got mine at China Mall, right? So we're gonna start with my first cup of flour. As you can see, this is how I level it. You level it, and it is 1 full cup, and then you put it here. Then you serve your flour. We have our so it's 1 spoon of baking powder per cup, right? So we'll have, you also have to level it. 1. So you will have like a cup, half a cup, quarter, whatever, until you get to this size, which is a spoon. This is a spoon. So you'll see how we're gonna use it. So I don't know, I'm just gonna put 1.5 cups of sugar, so I don't take a lot of sugar. My first cup of sugar, and I'll use this one as my half. So these things, they make it, I don't know what they're called, I just call them baking essentials, but they really make it easier because you don't need to measure like with the mug, like the way we always do it, like the olden way. You need to mix. Mix. So if you want to add like Other flavors like coconut or whatever you can add as part of the dry ingredients, but this is like a basic recipe that you can use, like I said, especially when you are baking to sell or to start a business. This is very good and it's very nice. Because you don't want to buy a lot of ingredients, mix a lot of ingredients, and the next thing you're even unable to price it. So yeah, the lesser and simple ingredients, the better. You can price it and your people can afford you, right? So now that we're done with the dry ingredients, I'm going to put it aside and I'm going to mix our so we start with the ingamas. If you notice, everything that we do, we measure it with a cup, right? So I'm gonna put here 2 cups of ingamas. Don't worry, I'm gonna write the recipe down on the description box, but this is just like a method that you can follow. Oops. First one, then we have the second one, and I'll quickly rinse it. I always have my tablecloth, the wet and the dry one. I prefer using the wet one for this one. It's a little bit wet, but it can dry it out, right? Cool. Then you're gonna put 1 cup of ultra milk. Put it in there. Okay, cool. And now we getting eggs. Like I said, we're gonna use 3 eggs. You'll see what we're gonna use the 4th egg for. But at this stage, we only put like 3 eggs, right? And then your vanilla essence. I like to put 2 spoons of vanilla essence, but some people prefer to put 1. But I feel like it's not enough. Actually, I feel like my cup is too big. So it's up to you. You can put 1, but I prefer to put 2. So there we go. And I don't know where I misplaced my spoon that I use specifically for stirring this. So I'm just gonna use the wooden spoon. Use whatever you have. You can even use a spoon. But just make sure that you mix everything. And then we're done with this. I'll take this to the sink, and like I said, I'll put it away. It's wooden spoon, as you can see. The yellow one, I think they've got a white and a yellow one. I buy it at Pick n Pay or ShopRite. You can get it there, or any baker's bin. Remember, this is 400 grams for 7 cups. This is what you're going to do. You're going to cut this into blocks. Washing my hands. Just gonna dry my hands quickly and show you how your dough must look like. You see, when we were adding the flour, it was white. When we added white sugar, it wasn't this yellow. But because we added the wooden spoon butter, now it's yellow. And this is where the fun began, right? So in order for you to mix, I know that the old way of baking, like before I learned how to do it this way, you just pour everything and start mixing. But I learned a new trick, which I think helped me to stand out, like when I was saving my scones. So you create a hole, like I did here, in the middle, and this is where you're going to pour your wet ingredients. So you just put a little bit of it at the center. And here is another trick. When you mix, you don't just like mix with your hands. You do this like nicely with the tips of your hands, you know? It's like putting them together. You don't necessarily mix it. Don't be too hard, don't fight. Just put them together, more like combining the two mixtures together to form a dough. So that's literally how I do it. Right, and you take your dough. This is how it must feel like. Put it down. You don't use hands, you use this part of your hand. Just do this. Make it a little bit thick, not too flat, not too thick. So we're gonna put in the oven 3, 6, 9, 12 scones. So here's the trick. Remember I told you that I'm gonna tell you where and when I'm gonna use the 4th egg. So this is when I'm gonna use it. Cut it. Wipe this. Cool. I'm sure we all know this process. Like, this is what I do when I don't have baking paper. Some people prefer to use baking paper. Like I said, the lesser money you spend on buying these things, the better. Then you'll be able to price it. But if you want to buy baking paper, you can do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But we are working with budget here. We're actually trying to make money. We are not trying to waste money. So you work with whatever that works. You use whatever that you have. So yeah, we've got our 9 scones here, and this is how they look like. So now, for them to look spongy and nicer and shiny a little bit, this is what you're gonna use. You just brush the egg. By the way, if you want to make eggless scones and maybe you don't eat or you're allergic to eggs, you can replace this process with milk. So you don't need to put the eggs in the dry ingredients, but when it comes to this point, you can just use fresh milk. It works. So in this case, we are doing scones that have some eggs. So just brush it. Brush it. Not too much, but so guys, here's the final product. They look so yummy. So when you're done, you just take them out. You can put them in anything, any bowl of your choice, and just let them cool down, and you're ready to serve your tea. But here we go.